If you are weighing the pros and cons of moving to this area, stay tuned, because this video points out 9 reasons you may not want to move to West Virginia. There are lots of pros to living here, but if you're wondering, is this the right place for me? The cons are probably more important, so you can determine if there's some things you can't live with. We moved here from the DC area, so I'm going to share what we learned throughout the 20 years we've lived here. I'm Jana Classy. This is my husband, Paul, and we are realtors here in the Eastern Panhandle with Snyder, Bailey & Associates. We do a video or two every week, so subscribe, click the little bell if you'd like to be notified when a new one comes out. A friend of mine sent me an email with a long list of things I should tell clients thinking about moving here, and here's a few of them. Number 1, our lakes are full of snapping turtles, gators, freshwater sharks, creepy old guys wearing speedos. Number 2, Bigfoot has invaded our parks and it's their mating season. Number 3, skunks have invaded our parks at an unprecedented rate and they are raiding homes for beer. Lots of locals don't want to see a lot of people move into West Virginia. They want to keep it to themselves. But there are some things you probably want to know about before thinking of moving here, so you can determine if this area is a good fit for you. So here's 9 things we've learned. Number 1 is a variety of restaurants and cultural activities important to you. When we lived in DC, one of the things we really liked to do was to visit Chinatown or Adams Morgan with all the ethnic restaurants. If that's an important part of your life, you won't find it here. There's lots of chain restaurants in this area, few locally owned places, and there's local theater, but not nearly on the same scale. I miss that when we first moved up here. So occasionally we drive to DC for the day, but you know, it's a 2-hour drive, so we don't do that so much anymore. Number 2, if the main reason you want to move here is to live in an area with a wilderness feel, but you need high-speed internet, then that's something you're gonna really need to check out. The further west you get, the more rural it is, and the more unlikely you'll find high-speed internet. So before falling in love with a home way out in the country, be sure to check that out. Number 3, if public transportation is how you like to get around, you're not going to find much of that here. There is a nonprofit agency located in Martinsburg, the Eastern Panhandle Public Transport. It's mostly vans that circle the city, has a few trips to spots in Berkeley and Jefferson County, but really you'll need an automobile to get around here. If you live near town, you can walk to shopping, but without an automobile, it's going to be very limited where you can go. Number 4, bugs. You know that email described earlier, he had that as one of the reasons not to move here, but he said, you know, murder hornets, killer bees, clouds of crickets and cockroaches. So, like I said, some West Virginians want this place to themselves. There are more bugs here probably because we've got a lot of open fields, wooded areas, countryside, but you can manage that. There's pest treatment companies here.
Yeah, that's right. I'm bad.
It's not a big problem, but something you might want to know. Number 5, deer season. And this is more typical the further out in the country you live. If you have a plumbing emergency and it's deer hunting season, good luck finding a plumber. A lot of people in this area are hunters, so there's going to be few contractors and services available during hunting season. Just an FYI. 6, tractors. I did a video on Jaredstown, and as I was leaving a subdivision I was filming there, I got right behind a tractor going 10 miles an hour. So that's a 2-lane road, and there's several farms over there. Thankfully, the guy on the tractor let me know when I could pass. But there have been times, once on Route 9, where a slow-moving tractor did not do that. And Route 9 is really hilly, winding road. It's impossible to pass on most of that road. So a lot of automobiles piled up behind him, and that's just the way it is. Number 7, personal property taxes. West Virginia is one of the states that charges a tax on any vehicle you have. You'll need to register your vehicle with the county tax office every July. And this surprises some new residents, especially those from Maryland, where there is no tax on personal property. But let me tell you, that personal property tax is more than offset by the cheaper real estate taxes here. But it is something to be aware of. Number 8, no zoning. This is not a con to everyone. In fact, to some people, it's a good thing. There's less tolerance here for a government telling you what you can do with your property. But there can be a downside to that for some. If you buy a home in an area where there is no restrictions, no zoning, your neighbor could decide to open a car repair shop or any number of businesses. Like a fortune teller, which happened to a guy I know. His neighbor put a big neon sign in the front yard. So Morgan and Berkeley County have not implemented zoning. Just another FYI. Number 9, a more conservative leaning. And this becomes more apparent the further away from DC you get. And this is not a con to many people. In fact, it's the very reason lots of people are attracted to this area. I'm pointing it out just so you have that information. It may very well go on the pros side of the list for you. It also may go on the cons, depending on your preference. So those are some considerations if you are doing a pros and cons list of moving to this area. For us, the pros far outweigh the cons. The home affordability, less congestion, open countryside, beautiful mountain terrain, friendly people. I would not want to move back to the DC area at this point, but that might not be the same for you. So it's good to know what it's like here, especially if you would miss all the amenities, the restaurants, the museum, cultural activities offered in a larger city. Those things are here, but they're here at a much lesser extent. Okay, so those are the things we learned when we moved here. So I hope it's helpful to you. If you are thinking of moving to this area, give us a call. We've helped lots of people relocate here. We love doing that. My number is 304-264-2828. And the video to the right there goes into a lot more detail about what it's like living in the 3 counties. So check that out too. Okay, have a great week. Hope this was helpful. I'll see you next week.